Is there consistency in the voice? You're not casual using lots of slang and jargon in one aspect, and then on another aspect you sound very corporate and aloof and cold. If that's the case, there's a disconnect there. And if there's a disconnect, you create confusion in your audience's mind and they don't understand your brand. Hi, I'm Rob G and welcome to Savvy. Today I want to talk to you about connecting for consistency. Now, when I talk about connecting, I'm of course talking about connecting your brand with your audience so that they feel like they are a part of your world and vice versa. There's a social likability there. And as far as consistency, what that pertains to is in terms of your brand. People think branding is a logo. People think branding is maybe the person that they see most that represents the brand. And while those are elements of a brand, they are not the brand. So a logo is not a brand. A logo is a mark. It's a visual that identifies a brand. And it's part of a whole brand identity. It includes websites, it includes the messaging, the voice that comes through on the blog or on the videos, or the thoughts that come through on the Twitter feed, the graphics that come through on Instagram, those snapshots with great pointers and tips. That's all branding right there. So that consistency is part of what I'm going to be talking about in terms of no matter where your audience interacts with your brand, does it make sense to them? Is there consistency in the colors you use? Is there consistency in the font that is used? Is there consistency in the voice? You're not casual using lots of slang and jargon in one aspect, and then on another aspect you sound very corporate and aloof and cold. If that's the case, there's a disconnect there. And if there's a disconnect, you create confusion in your audience's mind and they don't understand your brand. When they don't understand your brand, they don't feel understood by you. And that's a problem. That disconnect is what you want to avoid. So how do you make that connection? I talked about the consistency. When you have consistency among all those things I mentioned, you're going to have the connection in your audience's mind so that they understand your brand. And if you're targeting them properly, if they are indeed your audience who you've defined, which I talked about in another video, then they are going to feel understood. They're going to feel related to. They're going to feel a connection with your brand, like you guys are social and you're hanging out at the same places and you're friends. And that's what you really want. And the consistency is going to play a part in that. So you have to have proper consistency in your branding. Again, it's not just a great logo, which is great, and it's not just great website, but they all tie together in the same way that you as a person, as long as you are the same person, no matter who you're hanging out with, there's an authenticity about you. And that consistency in all your branding is an authentic thing that people can connect with because they're not confused because you're behaving one way one moment and another way in another moment. That key to being understood is going to be in there, in that consistency. So what that really means to you is this. Once you have that consistency among your branding and you connect with your audience, then you pave the way on the branding path from your audience, who is a potential customer, right to your door. The branding path is clear, and check out my video on the branding path and I'll explain that more in depth. But the path is basically starts from your audience who is not yet a customer and who maybe doesn't even know of you yet, and is a direct way to your door to make a purchase. So that consistency and that connection are going to pave that path nice and smooth so that your audience becomes a customer, and not only that, they come to the ultimate place, and that's a loyal customer, because your loyal customer is going to be your biggest advocate. They're going to recruit new people in their hangouts on their social to your brand, and those are going to become customers, and you are absolutely gonna exponentially grow your brand and grow your business that way. So I hope that helps. I wanna hear your comments. I want you to spike those below. I want you to hit that subscribe button. I got great new content coming out every week. This has been Rob G for Savvy. And remember, always be learning, always stay savvy. Thanks for watching.